Object shows. Starting with Battle for Dream Island, there have been many. Inspired by BFTI, there are a lot of shows. Net Sanity to Object Overload to Evolve the Objects to Open Source Objects. There are a lot of good shows, and there are a lot of bad ones, but in the last couple of years, I've noticed a couple problems rise. Some problems I think need fixing. Today I'll be talking about those problems, and hopefully we can help fix them. Let's go. This shouldn't be a problem. This shouldn't be a surprise. Toxicity has been a problem in this community ever since day one. But I honestly think it needs to be fixed. Please. When an episode of a show you like hasn't come out in a while, the creator is probably taking a break. They do not belong to you. They need a break. And don't flood their social media pages telling them to continue working on the show. They will soon. They just need a break. Again, another one that shouldn't be a surprise. Opinion disrespect has always been a problem too. But once we've all been there sometime, but when you think about it, what is really the problem? Yeah, sure, people may not have the same opinion as yours, but does that really matter? So what if they don't think the same way as you do? That shouldn't change anything. I can understand why people think this way, but honestly, it's really flawed. Okay, this may be somewhat of a minor problem, but I've seen a lot of people complaining about recommended characters who appear in BFB episodes, but then don't contribute much to the plot. These characters being Portable Music Player, Clip, Steamy, Rusty Coin, Profile, CRT, and Birthday Cake. There's also Slingshot, but I don't include that as one, since Slingshot didn't say anything, and was more just used as an object in the background. Lots of people complain about this character, saying that they don't do much, and they don't have interesting personalities, but they don't need to. The whole reason these characters exist is because people pay Jack and Jill to have a character to have something to do with the plot in an episode. So basically, the reason why these characters exist is because fans pay the Jack and Jill fee so that they can be in the episode. Alright, so it turns out I made a mistake. This is the opinion disrespecting segment, but when I was talking about people who obsess over their opinions, I was talking about opinion disrespect, so I kind of swapped the two around, so I'll just talk about obsessive opinions here. Some people feel like they need to talk about their opinion every chance they get, even sometimes where it is not important. Please, only talk about this when people ask. And when you do, please give us a reason why you like or dislike the character. A lot of new object shows have little to no effort. For a majority of shows have lazy animation, and sometimes they'll refuse to animate scenes with the excuse that I'm too lazy. I hate seeing people who say I'm too lazy get a free pass. It's annoying. You need to try. Also, There are also a lot of shows that get cancelled after 1 to 3 episodes. And then they just make a completely new show. At least make a sequel to that other show you made. You know how BFDI and Animated Sanity became the two most popular audio shows? Because they have so much effort. They try a lot. Please, try if you want your show to be as successful. In case if you somehow don't know, Carrie and Michael were the original creators of BFDI. However, one thing that bothers me is that they don't work on episodes as much as they used to. They more just, as of Beef 60, they just hired a lot of their fans to animate for them. I didn't like this change, because Carrie and Michael seemed to stop animating, and they seemed to just let their fans make the show for them, which seemed particularly lazy. Also, it's not the same without them animating. Again, on the topic of lack of effort, there are lots of shows that get cancelled very quickly. Almost like if the creator just didn't care about what they were making, and it was just a test. Like they didn't care about the show they were making. Another problem is that a lot of audio shows nowadays are joke shows, and since joke shows are intentionally bad, meaning that there's no effort. It shouldn't be seen as a problem. After the Abomination Craziness Island, which we will not be talking about because it deserves to be forgotten, search it up if you are curious. Anyways, on the topic of copying, many people will just look at what other people are doing and look at popular shows and just copy what they're doing and think they'll get as popular. Of course, this doesn't work at all. I think if you want to make a good show, just be original. Don't do what everything else be. A good example of copying is the Daily Object Show style shows. So yeah, the Daily Object Show is pretty good. So let's make the Weekly Object Show, the Monthly Object Show, the Hourly Object Show, the Secondly Object Show, the Minutely Object Show. This may not seem like a problem, but it really is. The first object show with the idea of having multiple people animate was open source objects. It prided itself as the object show that anyone can work on. Then everyone started making shows like this. And until then, the whole point of OSO, open source objects, the whole point of the show became nothing. Nothing special about it now that everyone is doing the same thing that it prides itself about. So yeah, thanks for ruining open source objects. Not a lot of people complain about this, but honestly I think this is a problem that needs to be talked about. BFB 30. It was a pretty good episode. However, the purple-faced villain thing was terrible. First of all, he was a villain because he wanted revenge on the contestants for apparently despite the fact that they didn't even treat him that badly. And he also said in the flashback that he was flying over the contestants with his evil wings, despite the fact he was locked away in Yellowface's factory at the time. And if this was before they mistreated him, then why was he evil back then? please put more effort into your writing. Alright, so this might get a bit controversial, but I think each gender should stick to specific pronouns. If you're a boy, use he, him, and his. If you're a girl, use she and her. If you identify as anything else, just use they, them, their, or anything else. I don't understand stuff like girls using him, he, the male pronouns. You're just making things unnecessarily complex. Just stick with how things are. Why can't we just have specific pronouns for each gender identity? Isn't that simple? Bad grammar is a huge problem on the OC. It's very common. I won't go into too much detail, so let me specify things. Ownership your is Y-O-U-R, and Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are. Ownership there is T-H-E-I-R. There, when you're pointing at something, is T-H-E-R-E, and there as in they are is T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. Ownership its is I-T-S, and its as in it is or it has is I-T apostrophe S. Ownership whose is W-H-O-S-E, and whose as in who is or who has is W-H-O apostrophe S. Profanity and inappropriate content shouldn't even be in most object shows. Considering the fact that BFTI has an under 13 fan base, there's a high chance that your object show will have a lot of under 13 fans. So please, if you want to put inappropriate content in the show, please just put a warning. Just put a warning at the beginning. How hard is that? You don't even need to tell the viewers why the video is bad. You could just say something like, warning, mature audiences only. Thank you. It's no surprise that there will be a lot of memes being made anywhere. There will be memes being made anywhere in the world. However, one thing I'd like to complain about is the fact that a lot seem to have a bad understanding on how memes work. And I see stuff like POV, you're going to Brazil. You just combine two memes, it doesn't make it funny. You don't even seem to know how those two memes work. For example, okay, you know what, never mind. What I should say instead is, please, before you make a meme, please try out knowyourmeme.com. You'll get information on how the meme is supposed to be used. Okay, I may be a nostalgia freak or a change hater for saying this, but I miss back when Jack and Jelfie made games. There were a lot of fun games like BFTI 5B, Tide Pool, Get to the Top although there is no top. Jack and Jelfie should really make more games. I mean, the BFTI world has expanded so much. There's so much in this show that you can make a game about. There's also the fact that